Hey, it's time for a podcast, but I'm at the San Diego International Fringe Festival. Let's do one anyway. It's Amok's Takeout. Hi, everyone. Hey, and welcome to what I call Amok's Takeout. We serve it, you take it out, forms the acronym EAT, E-A-T, and it is time to eat. My takes on all things about race, society, politics, and diversity, and everything those things touch in our culture and society with respect to Asian Americans. Of course, you don't have to be Asian American to lend us your ears. It's your minds we want. I'm Emil Guillermo, your host, and you might say, why Amok, Emil? Well, the short story is for nearly 15 years, my Emil Amok column was a staple of Asian Week, what was once the leading Asian American weekly in English in America. Amok was the name of my compilation of essays, and Amok is on my driver's license. It's my middle name. It's not indicative of my mental state. And of course, it's the name of my solo show, and that's where we find ourselves, right here. We're in San Diego at the San Diego International Fringe Festival, doing my solo show, the Amok Monologues. It's here, and the final night for the Fringe goes on through the weekend, but my final night of the show is tonight at 10:30 p.m., and you really have to see it. You got to come see it. I know you're saying, Emil, I'm in Bahrain. I'm in the Philippines. I'm in New York. I can't go see your show. Okay, look, we'll figure out something. We'll have the Sultan send his private jet or something. No. What we'll do is, for those of you who can't make the show, send me an email, PayPal me the ticket price, and I will send you an audio and a nice picture. Either a short video clip, just because of the amount of gigabyte space of video, it's easier to send audio. And you could have a part of the show. I mean, it's the first time we've done an hour of the Amok Monologues, and it has been a good show. It was well reviewed by San Diego Story, which is the premier arts magazine here in the area, and you'll get it on the link, on the podcast link here. And it's interesting. It's a story of my life, really. And so send me a PayPal or send me an email, and we'll take care of you if you're in a far-flung part of the Emil Amok Takeout diaspora. And you can be a part of this kind of an historic moment for me at the San Diego International Fringe Festival, being able to do my Spalding Gray meets Ferdinand Marcos imitation. And 5 shows, ends tonight at 10:30 here in San Diego. Now, if you're one of the fortunate ones who are in the San Diego area, well, it's in Horton Plaza, which is downtown. 10:30 at night. It's it's not bad. There's parking available, and I'm up by, and I know you people who are bra and panty people will know this. It's up by the Victoria's Secrets to the left at the San Diego Art Institute space. It's a nice, small, intimate theater, and we gather and we do this thing. It's a one-man show. It's me talking for an hour. So what am I doing a podcast? Well, it just felt like this was a podcast time. And so the Fringe is a great little festival. There are tons of artists from all over the world. Come see my show tonight at 10:30 right there at the San Diego Art Institute space up in Horton Plaza. It's in the off the street level, like the first level off the street level. So I guess that's the second level. Next to Victoria's Secret to the left, there it is. Come if you can in San Diego. And if you can't, send me an email, PayPal me the ticket price, and I'll send you an audio version with a little picture and a little note about the show. All right? Emil at amok.com, EMIL at amok.com. Ticket price is $10, and it's low because it's part of the Fringe Festival. And I'll explain that. The Fringe is just all these people. And it's not that we are fringe talents or marginalized people. It's because it started off in Edinburgh in Scotland. And there were a number of arts organizations that were left out of a big international festival, just arts festival there. And those people said, well, screw it. We're going to set up on the fringe of where the parameters of this festival, are taking place, or is taking place. And so they set up on the fringe, and they began to outdraw the main festival and became the biggest arts festival when they merged, ultimately, into the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. And it goes on to this day. And some of the artists here in San Diego are going there to Edinburgh. So you have people from all over the world, Asia, Europe, New Zealand, Australia. There have been artists from all over, as well as artists from North America, Canada. I'm from California. There's a lot of local talents from San Diego. It's a great little festival. And if you're into the arts and you're into live entertainment, you can do far worse than seeing a bunch of fringe shows right here while it goes on through the week. It's been going on since since a week ago, Thursday was the first day. And now it'll keep going on through July 2nd. My last show is tonight, but it's a great little thing. The San Diego International Fringe Festival. And the beauty is that you're going to hear voices that you wouldn't hear ordinarily. You'll see acts that you wouldn't see ordinarily. There are all sorts of shows, like Cirque du Soleil type acrobatic shows. There are mashups of different kinds of genres. There's certainly the solo performer shows, like what I do. And then there's cabaret shows. I saw one show, and this is no joke. And this person has been a hit in other fringe festivals around the country. He calls it homo or como to homo. It's how a child actress who used to be a comoette on the old Perry Como show developed into a cabaret act and discusses some gender things along the way as well. So, I mean, it's funny, it's poignant, it's personal, it's live. Como to Homo, that was one of my favorite shows that I've seen here at the Fringe. And then, of course, there's a Filipino play called Aguila, which is written by a really young San Diego playwright, Filipino story. There's my show, of course, Amok. There's a great acrobatic Cirque du Soleil show called Gravity. I've met a lot of great performers from around the world. A great Australian, I guess a magician. Six Dick Tricks. Great show. Also, there's Tony Molesworth, who's a banjo player, and Mark Tolan, who's a mind reader. There's Jaguar Bennett, who's kind of like a BS artist. If you go to the show, you'll see what I mean. And so this is the thing about the Fringe. It's a variety. Oh, Bow and Arrow, which is kind of a circus vaudevillian kind of act. They do a great thing with this big, enormous red ball. The San Diego International Fringe Festival, if you're nearby and looking for something to do for the weekend, my last show is tonight at 10:30, and by all means, there's a ton of shows through Sunday this holiday weekend. It's a bang-up time. All right, so my show is tonight. It's Amok, and I talk about my time at NPR, my time at Harvard. And I also talk about the death of my cousin. All three things in 1 hour-long show. And the reviewer from the San Diego Story, it's called, Bill Eady, who's a renowned critic down here in these parts, didn't quite understand the last element, said he was sympathetic, but we're working it out. I appreciate the nice review. And once again, if you're around, catch it tonight at 10:30. Tonight being Thursday night, the 29th. And then if you're listening to this on the 30th, well, there are other ways to catch it. Hopefully I'll be in a city, in a small, intimate space soon. But that's the plan with the show. So just as long as you have access to my website at amok.com or my Facebook page at Emil Guillermo Media or Emil Guillermo, we'll be able to do this thing. We'll be able to stay in touch. All right, some other things. So, I'm doing this show, and it's hard. It's hard to keep up with the news. In fact, one of the great things about doing this show has been I have turned off the television. I'm staying with my cousin. Or, not cousin, my niece. Cousin is a euphemism because she's much younger or much older than a niece would be. But this is the Filipino story, right? My niece, I haven't seen in more than 20 years. But because of the San Diego Fringe, we have come together because not just because I needed a place to stay, because I suddenly was in San Diego and I was here and I said, who do I know in San Diego that I can bunk up or, find a couch surf, whatever the term is that people use these days. Who would take me in? And of course, I had a family member, my niece, Ronnie, and she's been fantastic. Her and her family opened up their home, and I've had a place to stay, and it's been wonderful. And if there's anything from the Fringe that I'll take away and never forget, it won't be that great review, although I'll never forget my great first review. And it won't be doing 5 shows in a nice, intimate space at the San Diego Art Institute. It'll be that the Fringe brought my family together. And that I will never forget. And it's really something that when we last saw each other, my niece and I, OJ was a free man because I was staying in Washington, D.C. when I was working at NPR. And she visited me, and that's really the last time we saw each other. Oh, we saw each other once again. We went to Disneyland. I came back to California. We went to Disneyland, and I think 94 or 95. But yeah, when we were back, when I was on the East Coast, OJ was a free man. Because I remember the week she left, there was the white Bronco chase. So it's just amazing what happens to families when, you lose touch. But then something happens, you get back together, and it's like nothing's ever changed. But something did change with Ronnie. I mean, I remember I was talking to my sister, Ronnie's mom, and she told me that something happened to Ronnie. She had a health mishap. She had breast cancer, and I don't think that's I'm betraying any privacies by mentioning it, but I don't know why, but I talked to Ronnie through her mom, and I didn't really communicate directly with her, and it's been this long until we connected again. But we've had some nice talks, and here's the great thing. She's a cancer survivor. She's cancer free, and in tip-top health. In fact, she has joined forces with other cancer survivors to do some great things in the community. They have a dragon boat crew, nothing but cancer survivors, and they're trying to raise money for other people who are in different stages of breast cancer. So it's really changed her life for the good, and it's just wonderful to see her now after all these years, cancer-free, and with a purpose that goes beyond, her own sense of her life. she's been part of a community, and it's been exciting to have her share her story with me, and for me to share my story with her is our common story, because she's certainly part of that, and that's part of my Amok monologue. So it's just one of the things that I'll remember about being here at the Fringe. So, all right, so much personal family stuff. I've got my traveling rig, so I don't have all my editing stuff. And actually, editing takes a different mindset. But so much stuff has happened here. So much newsy stuff. We had the Trump has no Comey tape revelation, and then this morning we had the let's dump on Mika Brzezinski. I mean, this is the president, mind you. He doesn't have better things to do. But this is what happens when you have a petty man as president calling the shots, and you think he has, like I said, more weighty things on his plate, but he chooses to go after the most ridiculous things and to say things that tosses the news cycle off. And I just think it's a great time to be cut off from all news, as I have these last 10 days, because I catch little bits. I say, what, is he doing that again? And it's been relaxing to detox and just to concentrate on my show. But I guess for those of you who are still kind of paying attention to the Trump stuff, the Trump phenomena, I guess it's my sympathies to you. So I've been kind of cut off, I have to admit, and it's been strange because a lot's been going on. And if you read my ALDEF blog, my column, Amok, is really home based on the website of the Asian American Legal Defense and Education Fund blog at ALDEF, AALDEF.org/blog. And check it out. I mean, if you like what you see in here, ALDEF is a 501c3, incidentally, and you can go to the donate button. It's tax deductible. But as you know, the ALDEF blog has my piece on Vincent Chin, because we had the 35th anniversary while I was here, which was really strange because I really had my heart was with my friend Corky Lee, who was in Las Vegas staging his own essentially one-man protest against Ronald Ebens. He was at Ebens's home in Henderson. While I was here, I've done interviews with Corky and some other people who were big in the news while I was here. For example, Simon Tam, whose Slants won a big victory for the First Amendment when the Supreme Court, the Big Daddy Court, the Supreme Court, ruled in favor of his group, the Slants, to retain its name as an appropriate reappropriation of the term slant. I know that's caused a divide in our Asian American community, but I am on the side of the First Amendment, and I'm glad that Simon won. I talked to him. I know it sets up some really negative things with, well, the issues like the Washington football team, which I have been against the name of the Washington football team for decades, since I was on talk radio in Washington, D.C. in the 90s. So it's conflicting. This is the thing about the First Amendment. We don't have a 1.5 amendment. We don't have a First Amendment that comes in half sizes. So it's going to be tricky, and we're going to have to work this out. But we must say that when the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the slants, it was a positive thing for all of us. So I'm going to talked. I'm going to have that interview with Simon. I'm going to put that up next week, and Quirky too. We'll talk about what happened in Henderson. So a lot going on, but I've been focused on this monologue I do because it's important. I mean, I've been working on this monologue for I know it seems like I've just been working on it the last couple of weeks, but the truth is, bits and pieces of this monologue have come together over the last 3 years in this form, in the solo performance form. And then really since 1991, or 1990, when I was at NPR, when I wrote my first Father's Day essay, and then throughout an Asian Week, and when I moved the Amok column to other places like, other Filipino publications, and ultimately at Aldef's website, the Aldef blog. These stories are part of my life, and they have come together in this version in the Amok Monologues. And I talk about NPR, I talk about my experience at Harvard, and I talk about my cousin's death. Those seem to be the three kind of legs of this one. And I imagine the Amok Monologues will continue and change throughout their existence. But these are the three stories now. And I hope that, we get a chance to do it live wherever you are, or that I get it. I say we, but it's just me. But really there's we, because it's me, the performer, but we, performer and audience. I don't really discount the audience. There's a fourth wall, sort of, but you're there too. And the energy that you have from what you take from me gets recycled in the room, and that's where the live entertainment or the magic of live theater really takes place. So I look forward to coming to perform wherever you are. So that's what I've been concentrating on, and it's really been hard to do that and try to figure out more Trump jokes. Although it's not really about Trump jokes, really. It's just about how to respond in a way to all the things that he's doing on healthcare. I guess that was a victory, that the healthcare vote is delayed and that no one likes it. They're going to delay the vote until after the July 4th recess. But now, this morning, as I do this, the subject is not on Russia or on anything. It's on what Donald Trump thinks about Mika Brzezinski's facelift. Is that possible? He's talking about that, or it's just ridiculous. I don't know. We've never had such a garrulous president so full of BS in our time. I just, a guy with no sense of history, no sense of decorum. I mean, if one of the great historians, the presidential historians, would just send Donald Trump some books, although, all right, he doesn't read. So maybe they would send him the picture version of their book so he can just flip through. And yeah, because we know he really gets upset when he sees pictures of Syrian refugees, right? Then he tends to do the right thing. So maybe we just send him pictures. Maybe if we Instagram him to death, or not to death, but, Instagram him ad nauseum. Or maybe if we send him tweet pics of things that he will emotionally respond to, because he doesn't read. He's a non-reader. Maybe then we'll communicate with him or something. The importance of, and the stature of the role the role he's in now. He's president. He can't be bullied. He can bully. He can't be bullied. He can't pick on morning anchors because he doesn't like what they say. I mean, that's really an abuse of power, really. And then, of course, today is also, travel ban 2.0, which, it's kind of discretionary in a way, in a sense, because they allow you to come in if you can establish a tie, but someone's going to have to make a decision if those ties are real or the ties that you present are legit for the definition. So once again, Trump creates more problems. Just breathing, he creates more problems for being the guy, the man in charge. He creates more trouble for himself just by being. And of course, more trouble, more make work, more concerns from, for everyone. And I don't know. In some way, I'm glad I've had this period of detox because I've just had to worry about my little story that goes back to really the colonization of the Philippines and the justification of the colonization of the Philippines. As I like to say, it's enough to make you go amok. Or, as you know, I have been doing this show dry, so I've even forgot that I have this. I mean, I have Dr. David Dow to shriek away and go amok on me. But really, as I've stood back, it's like being a political junkie in exile, watching, all the addicted kind of get roused up, and I've been standing aside, kind of doing my thing, but also paying some attention to what's going on, and it really is crazy. All right, so I think at this point it is time to say, look, I for those of you who wanted a podcast fix, I wanted to give you a podcast fix from here in San Diego, which is really a lovely city. And if you're going to visit San Diego, you should. San Diego is one of those great places that its main benefit is it's not LA. Its second main benefit is it's not San Francisco either. And so it's somewhere between San Francisco and LA without being San Jose or Fresno. And that is really, really great because not only is it San Diego, but it has this beautiful water setting and there's boats and it's pretty and the weather isn't oppressive. It's like 100 degrees in the center of the state, and here it's it's a reasonable anywhere from 70 to the 90s, depending upon if you're in the coast, but it's all within driving distance, and nothing is as oppressive as, say, the traffic in either LA or San Francisco. And really, it's a beautiful place, San Diego. And the Chamber of Commerce didn't make me say that. And so what's even more beautiful is San Diego when the San Diego International Fringe Festival is here. So what can I say? My final show is tonight at 10:30 at Horton Plaza, the San Diego Art Institute space. It's a pop-up. It's like if you can imagine, it's right next to Victoria's Secret. So you bra and panty people, you know where to find it. Just go to the left, and where they would probably put a Victoria's Secret Junior, it's like they have a Gap Kids. I guess they have Victoria's Secret for Kids or something. I don't know. Where they would have one of those. They have a storefront that is operated by the San Diego Art Institute, and they put up a stage, and it's really a great setting. It's an intimate theater setting. It's like I could do a podcast from there. It's that intimate, and you go there 10:30 tonight. Tickets, go to the podcast page, and there's a little link. Go to amok.com. There's also a link there. Buy your tickets. Just buy. If you buy a ticket and can't come because you're in Europe or something, show me that you got it. Email it to me. I'll send you an audio of that, right? So there's lots of ways to participate. come see the show. And if you're nearby in San Diego, by all means, take in the Fringe Festival. It's a great opportunity not to see Wonder Woman. I mean, nothing against Wonder Woman, but this is live entertainment. Look, if Wonder Woman were to come into my room right now, she can entertain me all day. I would gladly allow for that to happen. But she's not. So, but here are entertainers from all over the world, some tremendous acrobats, circus performers, singers, magicians, really, and solo performers like myself. They're all here at the Fringe Festival. Check it out, Google it, and see if you can make a show if you're nearby. And then catch my show if you come by too at 10:30 tonight. So that's it. I think that's all we're going to do. I just needed a podcast fix. You know, like if you were traveling and you're away from your yoga class, you'd want to do like the hero's pose or do the chair pose or do one of those morning blossom type of things. You'd have to do it. And you got your yoga pants on, right? You might as well do something. And even though it looks weird, like you're stopping in the mid-sidewalk to do something like that, but you have to do it. It's in you. So I'm doing this in that same vein where, I haven't podcasted in a while. I got my gear. I got David Dow with me. And I got my mixer. I got, we're going to do a podcast. And we're going to do a podcast about the Fringe, about being in San Diego, and about going amok, about my piece. And, so now we've done it. And now I can say, that's our program. Hey, we're on iTunes. Did you know that? We're on iTunes. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Tell your friends about the show. Share a link. Our normal show will be back next time. You can contact me on Twitter at Emil Amok. That's EMILAMOK. You can go to the Aldef blog at www.aldef.org/blog. See what I wrote on the Vincent Chin case. It's a week after we can do our postmortem. In fact, our next blog podcast will be about the postmortem, about and now what after the 35th year. And and now what is probably going to be, not enough people know about Vincent Chin. We think we all know about Vincent Chin, but not enough people know about Vincent Chin. And so that's a now what, Give us your feedback on www.amok.com. You can even leave a message on SpeakPipe. That's a thing where you don't even need a phone. Oh, you're already holding your phone, but we don't connect to your phone. We connect through the internet. And if it's audible and you say something even halfway intelligent, hey, we'll use it. Just like talk radio. And if you like what we do, well, maybe you'll just want to shriek. Hey, it's the First Amendment. It's a wonderful thing. Hey, if you like what we do, share the link, tell a friend, go to the Aldef blog, hit the donate button. Like I said, Aldef is a 501c3 at aldef.org/blog. It's tax deductible, all your help. And once again, thanks for listening. Really, thanks for listening to Emil Amok's Takeout. I'm Emil Guillermo.